It's about passion for a sport we all enjoy. It's about conservation, education, community, and fellowship. It's about a single voice of strength. It's about being part of a common cause for the common good. It's about you. It's about us. It's our time to come together.
We're asking you to join us
and become a proud members American Catfish Association. You'll be happy you did. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, they are.
Welcome, everybody, to ACA Live, our 12th show on this holiday weekend. I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. I was actually watching some documentaries over the weekend as I was working away on my computer. I was glancing up, and it was a complete history of our independence, and it's fascinating. And I never realized that the Declaration of Independence was actually signed on July 2nd. It went through a couple of revisions, and it was adopted by then our Congress on July 4th. So a little bit of trivia there for you. But I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope you got out and did some fishing. We have a tropical storm beginning to move into the area, although we're not going to get too hit bad with it. The west coast of Florida and the Keys are going to get some rain, and it's probably a little bit of wind. And Brian St. Alma from Cat Masters left last Friday to spend a week with his family in the Keys. So I told him to get himself a nice big cooler and some ice and some beverages of choice, because if the storm comes through there, they have a tendency of losing power down there. So I hope they're having fun and making the best of it. Anyways, tonight, we have Stephen Hearn with us, and let me get Stephen in here. And Stephen, he's got all sorts of stuff going on. Where is he? There he is. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Great. Hey, you
have a good 4th?
Get his fishing rods out. I've always had good luck when a hurricane was coming fishing down there. So get them rods out there, catch some full heads.
Before or after?
During.
Yeah, well, that water gets pretty nasty. I know that he wanted to do some inshore fishing. He wanted to go for some redfish and tarpon and snook and things like that. Although I don't know if snook's in season, but he's been offshore and he's done some mahi fishing and wahoo and all that good stuff. So I hope they're having a good time, and it's just a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind. It's not a big storm. So
yeah.
If I know Brian, he'll if he's dealt lemons, he'll make lemonade.
There you go.
Yeah. So Steve, you are a busy guy. You've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to keep that boat in the water as much as possible. And
well, not only do you do a lot of fishing, but you work very, very hard and diligent on your tournaments. It's West Tennessee Catfish
Anglers, yeah.
Anglers. I keep wanting to say club. And how many events do you have with that event, that trail every season?
This year we have 5 regular points earning events, and then we have 2 little afternoon events that we put on. They're a lot of fun. If you other guys don't do it, have a 9-points event, cut your entry fees in half, and bring somebody that you normally wouldn't fish with, and just get out there and have fun one afternoon. We usually fish from 2 to dark on those afternoon events. Bring somebody else new into the sport. I took one of my buddies once that's been faithful to my catfish club. He's a dear friend of mine, and he's been fishing, in my bass club for years. And I took him out I think it was in November a couple of years ago, and he'd never been catfishing on a tournament level like that, which we wasn't in a tournament that day, but he caught a 50 and a 60 in that one trip, and 3 months later he bought a catfish boat. So
wow, it is. I mean, you know, people don't realize that the smaller events, what we call with the Alliance, the Division 4, is a great place to start. And it's a great place for fellowship and to make some great friends and to learn a lot too.
Yeah, they do. More people will open up to you in the little events versus those big money events. They kind of get tight-lipped in that, and they're a little more serious.
Oh, nobody gives anything away at the big events. Not at all. It's hysterical to watch. You know, the back and forth. You know, you're trying to get these little tidbits, and it just doesn't work. The Massengale brothers are real good at that. They'll say, "Yep, yeah, we were fishing, yeah, on the water, right? You know, well, yeah, with a fishing rod, you know."
They've got a wheelhouse of techniques they use too that most other people don't even know how to do.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to a few people in the past. You know, down here, you know, offshore fishing, a lot of times, the boats will have outriggers. And we'll drop outriggers, and when we're trolling, we'll troll 2 lines off the outriggers and then 2 off the back of the boat. And I was thinking, why couldn't a technique like that be used for dragging?
Well, I kind of use that. I have some 10-foot TWC catfish poles. I call them whips, and I actually throw them out the sides of the boat, and then keep the other one straight back, and them 10-footers kind of get the baits out a little bit without having to use planer.
Right.
Like that.
Right. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the planer boards. I mean, they're great. They're fantastic for doing what you do. But I just thought that the outriggers would be kind of a good way to get a lot of baits out there and spread out.
It would. I've got a brand new set of Parks planer boards I won at one of Brian's events, but they're still wrapped up because I don't know how to hook them up.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin Parks, he's pick up the phone and call him, and he'll tell you exactly what to do. He's one of the nicest guys in the industry, and he's done a lot. He actually came out with a certified ruler. It's not cheap, but it's dead on accurate. Yeah, it's dead on accurate. And it'd be nice if all the tournaments would use that, so it's kind of uniform. But I mean, it's actually comes with a certificate. It's certified.
Do you lay the catfish on his belly on it, or do you lay him on his side?
Well, that depends on the state. Some of the states say that you lay the catfish on its side, and that makes no sense to me based upon the the anatomy of a catfish. I mean, I think that laying it on its belly and pulling it, pulling the tail, et cetera, and I think it's probably the best way to do it. But it's whatever the state law is. That's what as tournament directors that we need to follow. As tournament anglers, period, or anglers, period.
I wish there was a universal thing, and you guys that are kind of new to tournament fishing and enter some of these big events, make sure at the captain's meeting you go up and ask the tournament director, how is he going to measure that fish? Because most of the times, if you bring in a fish that's too long, you're done. They don't just drop that one fish, you're DQ'd. So you need to know how they're going to measure that fish so you can practice that when you're measuring your catch out on the water.
Well, you know what I find too, Steve, is that the Tournament Alliance, which has just grown tremendously, and the camaraderie between the tournament directors is fantastic, and the sharing of information is great. And I think that what you're beginning to see is that the directors are beginning to kind of establish that common, the common basic rules and policies and programs, which is good to see, because if you're a tournament angler going to each different event, and having to kind of memorize all these major rules, different rules, or know these different rules. If it was universal across the board, I think it'd make it a lot easier and more enjoyable, I think, for the anglers. But that's just my opinion.
I think it'll evolve to that pretty soon. I think it's more people are getting on the same page and figuring more of this stuff out, and it's just growing pains.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, the catfish segment has grown so much in the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's incredible. And somebody had made a comment on one of the ACA posts recently. They said, "Well, you guys are trying to be just like Bassmasters," and I'm thinking, that's not so bad. If we could get the Tournament Alliance to be in at that caliper, but again, catfishing is different than bass. I think there's been a big debate over the last week or so about dead fish and the state laws and things like that. And I think that's really kind of left up to the tournament directors and the anglers. And I think that maybe even creating a focus group to talk about it might be a good idea. Work it all out within the entire catfish community. I know there's a lot of opinions out there. We see them every day, good and bad.
But I guess the good thing about that is I think in the catfish tournaments, we started off on the right foot on that because we never offered to weigh a dead fish. So people rolled their sleeves up and started coming up with these oxygen systems and all of these circulation systems and stuff that are so advanced for the evolution of catfishing that it's so much easier to keep those fish alive now than before.
Well, the other thing too, Steve, is I think the other thing too that people have to consider in bass, they allow dead fish to be weighed in. I think crappie, they do the same thing. But for a bass to grow to the point of, let's say, 4 or 5 pounds, it only is a couple years. But you get a 60-pound, 70-pound catfish, that catfish is 10, 15 years old. And so fish care is paramount to catfishing. It's not, I don't want to say that any fish is disposable, but a bass or a crappie only takes a couple of years to reach that maturity level, but a catfish takes, a decade or more. So I think that we have to be very, very conscious of that resource and take care of these fish the best way possible. And in fact, I talked to Brian St. Alma last week, and we're talking about putting together a video of how to set up the live well and good fish care and things like that. And I know that there's some other folks out there that are very versed in that we certainly want to include in that. I also spoke with another gentleman. I won't give any names out at this point, but about how to hold a catfish. I know there's been debates as far as how to hold a catfish. So we're gonna, create a video to show that, and probably bring in a biologist as well to talk about that. So there's a lot of things that the ACA is doing and wants to do to educate folks a little bit better. By the way, guys, I've got the chat open, so if you've got questions for Steve or any comments or discussion points that you want to bring up, let us know. I want to try to pay more attention to this chat as we move along here with ACA live shows. So Steve, I don't mean to get off on tangents, but so you've got your main trail now. You also work with a bunch of the other tournament trails in that region with the Tri-State group.
That's correct.
Tell us more about that.
The Tri-State group, it happened. I don't know when it happened. I remember when it happened. It was an idea, but Brian had I think it was that year or the year before, Brian had taken over the Mississippi Catfish Trail.
Brian Mayo
Johnson started it, and then Brian took it over, and I'd contacted Brian, and I told him if he needed any pointers or any help with anything to give me a holler. And
yeah, he needs a lot of help
there and fish an event.
I'm kidding.
You there?
I'm here. Go ahead. Continue.
And so our club and his club fished one together, and it was a great time had by all, and it was much new friendships were made and all that stuff. And I remember I was sitting in my warehouse one day, and I'm like, we need to do something for a good classic, because I'm tired of having 6 and 7 boat classics. You know, classic ought to be a celebration of the season. It ought to be somewhat of a big event. Everybody get together the night before and cook food and be jovial and have fun and all that stuff. So I called Brian up.
Every event should be that way.
Hey. Yeah. And the next thing I know, Brian has put together a group tech or a group message group with Brad Andrews from North Mississippi, David Woods from South Mississippi, and I think the AACH was on board right off the bat, and we started talking about it, and everybody was like, yeah, I love that idea. So that's actually where the Tri-State Alliance was born. And
now the classic that you talk about is, I'm sorry, Steve, I don't mean to talk over you. The classic you're talking about happens when?
It's always the first, well, we've only had one, but it's going to be an annual event. It's the first weekend in November, the first Saturday at Helena River Park.
David Funk, you know.
It's great fun. And then I decided, or I got with Brian before scheduling this year, and I said, hey, man, you want to do a little joint event at Helena in June? And he said, yeah, that's great. And the next thing I know, the other clubs were on board. So it was just a preview of what November was going to be in June. I think we had, 35 boats?
Yeah, and I was told that the last event that you had, the Tri-State event, that was what? That was not your classic. That was something else.
Right. That was just me and Brian getting together going, hey, let's join clubs and fish one this year somewhere. So, we just met.
Okay, so that was just kind of a collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you end up with 35 boats. I was told that there were a lot of boats there chasing ACA points, which is great to hear.
Yeah. I think your overall leaders were there. The Fountain, I guess they're brothers. Donnie Fountain.
Donnie and Lonnie Fountain fished everything. And there's a few teams out there that every time I turn around, they're fishing an event and they're in the top, at least the top 10, if not the top 5. They're chasing those points and they're chasing after that boat. People have to realize that, and if you're an ACA member and you fish an ACA Tournament Alliance event, doesn't matter what event it is. It could have 10 boats. It could have 100 boats. Your name goes in the hat to win a new Sea Arc boat. It's a 2021 Protege, custom wrapped with all sorts of little goodies on board. It's a nice boat. Have you seen it, Steve? Have you seen it in person?
I finally saw a full picture of it the other day. I never saw the back side of it, or the back right there by the transom. And
okay.
It looks real good.
Yeah, the wrap looks awesome, and Sea Arc does so much for the catfish community, certainly for the ACA and for the entire catfish community overall. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to talk a little bit more about your events, because you've got some other events that you're planning. Like I said, you're a busy guy. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some of those other events. So hang in there for a couple minutes, not even a couple minutes, I think a minute and a half, and we'll be right back.
The fear of failure is failure itself. The world of science rewards the ones who are willing to try and fail. Because with the courage to fail and to learn, ideas can change the world.
Hey guys, Pipeline here. Do you want the absolute best when it comes to the performance of your reels?
Choose the company Tournament Anglers trust. From our top-notch reel services
to high-end quality terminal tackle.
Trust in
Pipeline Tackle.
It's about conservation, education, community, and fellowship. It's about being part of a common cause for the common good. It's about you. It's about us. It's our time to come together.
Did you know the answer to that question, Steve?
I missed it. I put feelers.
You put feelers. Yeah. Barbells. Yeah, I'll tell you, every week it's getting tougher and tougher to come up with some of these questions. If anybody's out there to listening, you have a couple of good trivia questions on catfishing, send them my way.
I'm gonna give you one right now. I read something somewhere where they said a catfish can taste food from 6 feet away.
More than that. Do you know that they have taste buds? They have all along their body. It's not only the barbells, but it's all along their bodies. They've got sensors all along their bodies for taste and smell. It's incredible. So get out that stink bait.
There you go.
That's what they're chasing. So okay, so you got the West Tennessee.
All right.
You got the tri-state.
On the tri-state menu for the next couple of months, West Tennessee, 8/7 is our Carl Perkins fundraiser. It'll be at Ashport Landing. That's out of Ripley on Highway 19. I'm going to save him for last because we're going to talk about his fundraiser. South Mississippi, which is David Woods and company, they fish mainly the Mississippi River and some lakes there in South Mississippi, but they have a night tournament this coming Saturday, 7/10 at Yazoo City, right on the river.
Now who is that, Steve?
That's South Mississippi. That's one of our alliances.
Right. Okay.
The next one is AACH, Area Arkansas Catfish Hunters. That's Chris B. Sisk and Jamie Barsley. They've got August 7th, they'll be at Dardanelle Lake. And I tip my hat to you guys for that great fundraiser they had not too long ago. I think what was it, the COA or something like that?
I believe it was. There's so many events going around in my head that I can't keep track of them all. But I know that a few people had fished that, and they said it was a good event, and they hope to see it grow.
They raised some pretty good bank for them guys. So
good
job.
Good. That's what it's all about.
And we got the Mississippi Catfish Trail. That's Brian Bone Collector Mayo and his quiet little daughter. They're going to be Greenville, Mississippi. They actually put in Ferguson, which is like a harbor to the river right there, and they'll fish Greenville on 8/28. The Tennessee Mad Catters, which is Lewis Miller, Joseph Scott, and Randy and Stephen Chappell, I think is the way they pronounce their last name. They're a Middle Tennessee bunch. They fish the Cumberland a lot. They fish some of the Middle Tennessee lakes. They will be at Clarksville, and it's a night tournament on 8/21. And Clarksville's a beautiful ramp. They really got that laid out right. It's right in downtown Clarksville. And
now, not all of these are ACA Alliance members, correct?
Only one that's not is the Mad Catters, and we're working on them. Hint, hint.
Well, hey, they're welcome. Any event that's out there that wants to join the ACA Tournament Alliance, come on board. It's a great bunch of folks. Just like here's a perfect example. Steve Hearn doing his thing and helping everybody else out. Brian Mayo. I can go through a whole laundry list of people that just do a fantastic job with it, and it's so nice to see. So yeah, come on board. Come on board. Let's have some fun.
I got one more, and that's the Ramsey brothers putting on the Bama Blues 828 at First Creek, and that's a night tournament there on Wheeler.
That's their second night. As a matter of fact, you know what? While you're bringing that up, hang on a second here. We didn't have results from their event last week, and we didn't have any results from this weekend. There were no tournaments this weekend, which I was surprised. Nobody has a tournament on the 4th of July weekend, you know? But anyways, what's that?
I had a bow fishing tournament for the record.
Well, okay, but this is the American Catfishing Association, not the American Bow Fishing Association.
Hey, this is just the American fisherman, Jack.
Bow fish.
I'm not prejudiced on any of them.
Hey, I'm not either. I love fishing, period. But anyways, the Ramseys had their first night tournament, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And Nooner Hall and Les Thompson won that with 110.55 pounds. Big Fish was 60.6. Danny Ball and Ron Goucher, 99.7 pounds. In third place was Doug Walker and Jack Woodall with 82.5 pounds. Terry Haraway. And what's that?
I said, that's some good sacks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they had 32 boats. They paid out 4 places. Terry Holloway and Caleb were at 76.46 at 4th place. And again, that was their first night tournament. Their second one was you just mentioned is on Wheeler Lake, August 28th.
Yep. That's my birthday.
It is.
Yes, sir.
I'm an August baby too.
Stone cold Virgo.
We don't get along. You know that, right? The Leos and the Virgos, they don't get along.
I know.
We get along fine. Okay.
Good day. And saved him for last because we're going to talk about his fundraiser coming up. And that's Brad and Amber Andrews with North Mississippi Catfish. They've got an event 8/7 at Grenada Lake. North Mississippi fishes a lot of your reservoirs. They fish a lot of lakes. They fish, I think, a couple of dates on the Tom Bigber Waterway, which I think is, you could call that a river or a lake because the way those locks make lakes on down through the system. And then coming up 9/4 is their big fundraiser, which is Fishing for a Cure for St. Jude. I fished this one last year, guys. This is a well-oiled machine. This is a fun event. It's out of St. Jude. It's out of J.P. Coleman.
Pickwick.
And this one,
Yeah, it's on Pickwick.
It'll be awesome. Giving away a boat.
Yeah. Now, if you want more information on the Fishing for a Cure event, there's been a lot of people that have been working with Brad in putting this all together. The last I saw, I think we're up to close to 40 teams, which is terrific. It's a 100 boat cap. It's a $250 entry fee plus a $25 big fish. Half of the proceeds go to St. Jude's to the kids. And this is the big one. And you got a chance to win a new Sea Arc boat. Actually, you got a chance to win 2 Sea Arc boats.
Right.
If you're an ACA member, your name goes in the hat for the ACA prize boat, the Sea Arc prize boat, powered by a 200 horsepower Suzuki on a deluxe Marine Master trailer. And the one that you can win at the Fishing for a Cure is a 2021, is it a River Cat 2060? It'll be custom wrapped. Going to be all sorts of accessories included in it. So it's going to be a great day. It's for a great cause. Brad is knocking himself out to make this thing happen. There's a lot of people in the catfish community that are helping out, and which is great to see. We're certainly enjoying our part in it. So, please put it on your calendar, September 4th. And it's going to be Labor Day weekend. So you want to decide on doing this as quickly as possible and get some accommodations for yourself in place, because they've got some great cabins and a lodge and everything else there. It's a great facility.
It is. And there's a big town right nearby in Corinth. There's one in Iuka, which is, both of them are, Iuka would be a lot closer than Corinth, but Corinth's probably a 30-minute commute to the boat ramp. There's plenty of lodging in Corinth. There's some right there around Pickwick. There's some cabins up in Counts called Little Andy's. There's a couple of hotels there at Pickwick, and I'm not sure what all they've got in Iuka. I know one of them closed up last year, and that we always stayed at when we had a bass event down there. But there's still a few more in Iuka you could stay at, and if worse comes to worse, you could stay in Corinth.
Hey, worst comes to worst, grab a tent.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with pitching a bunch of tents around hanging out with a bunch of good people. That's always a lot of fun. So hats off to Brad for doing this. I think it's going to be a terrific event. And again, thank you to CARC for stepping up and helping with this. Charlie Crook has been very instrumental. A lot of other sponsors have already stepped up to help with accessorizing the boat, wrapping the boat, promoting the event. It should be great. And I would think that I would know the web address on this thing because I helped Brad set it up. I think it's called fishingforthekids.com. Brad, are you on here? Brad, if you could type in the chat, fishingforkids.com, I think it's. That's the name of the event, but Fishing for a Cure was not available. So we had to come up with another web address. What the heck is it, Brad? I know he's in chat. Type it in so that everybody in chat can have that link. Get signed up. This is a great event. Now, talking about a great event, Catfishing for Kids, that's what it was. Talking about a great event, you started something pretty significant, Steve. You made a suggestion several months ago about all the Tournament Alliance members picking a charity and raising money for that particular charity. And I heard about it. Steve Henderson from CR heard about it. Alex Nagy heard about it. Brian St. Alma heard about it. And we all jumped in and we said, man, that's a fantastic idea. What a way to raise money for, whether it be for the kids or any other viable charity that's out there.
Right.
So Steve is the one that started this all. And I'm not sure whether I should thank him or hunt him down, because this is going to be a lot of work. What we've done, and you saw us teasing a little bit several months ago, and then we stopped because of COVID. The place that we wanted to have it could not make the necessary commitments. They said they could, which then we started with the tease, and then they couldn't. So we had to stop with the tease. So I'm sorry for being a little premature with it, but anyways, we've developed a tournament which we hope to make. We hope to have every year at the same time, and this will be the closest weekend to Halloween weekend. We're shooting for Tunica. Not guaranteed that's where it's going to be, but we're shooting for Tunica and using different ramps in the area. Called Catfish Charity Challenge. You're going to have an opportunity to win another boat and a lot of great prizes. I mean, a lot of great prizes and some good money. And half of that, everything that's going to be raised there, will go to charity. Now, this first time around will go to St. Jude's. At least the monies that are raised on that event. Other Alliance members, they're going to raise money, and they're going to announce their charity and what they've raised for those charities at this event, which is terrific. It's going to be an opportunity for the catfish community to come together every year in one spot, for a wide variety of charities. And Steve, that's all because of your thinking, and thank you very, very much for that. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. So,
a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's going to be a blast. We're talking about, and right around Halloween is a lot of fun, because one of the things that we're going to do when you come in to weigh in, the best costume is going to win some money. Okay, we're going to have a sit down dinner. We're going to have all sorts of prizes and stuff to give away. It's going to be an event. I mean, not just a tournament, but it's going to be an event. You bring the wife, bring the husband, bring the kids, bring the grandparents. I just lost my earpiece. Hang on. Where did it go? So anyways, it will be a tremendous event that I think will become hopefully infamous in the years to come.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So as we know more about that, as that becomes a little bit more tuned in, we'll certainly let everybody know. Steve, we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back. We got a prize wheel, right?
Yes, sir.
We're going to give something away. Everybody likes to win stuff, right?
That's right.
2 minutes. We'll be back. We'll be giving something away.
No matter how hard you try, keeping your rigs tangle-free is, well, challenging. Well, not anymore with Rig Wrap. Staying tangle-free has never been easier. Just wrap, close, rinse, and store. Simple, right?
Wow.
No matter the rig, Rig Wrap has a storage solution to keep you tangle-free. From conveniently small to offshore extra large, you'll never worry about tangled rigs ever again. Rig Wrap, the world's best fishing rig storage solution.
Hey, I just saved a whole bunch of money on my hotel room for this tournament. You know that ACA has over 800,000 businesses in that discount program?
Man, have y'all seen the resources on the ACA website? I mean, they've got everything on there you need to know about catfish.
All that stuff is great, but look at what they're doing for conservation. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not a member. Hello, ACA?
Cat River Anchors.
David Funk, you're 0 for 2. What is this? Female. What was that?
That was the answer.
Oh, that was the answer. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I want
telling you. It's okay. It's all right. It's like I said, it's interesting finding these questions. I mean, I do a lot of research every week, and I look for just something, a little bit of tidbit I think that people may or may not know. And I know there's a lot of guys out there and ladies that are very, very up to speed on catfish. I mean, they know every little detail. But there's some folks out there that don't, like David Funk. He 0 for 2 tonight. But that's okay. He's a little challenged. He's always giving me a hard time. It's been going on for years. But good guy. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. A lot of fun. So So we covered your events. We covered the tri-state events. We've covered Brad's event coming up again. That's Fishing for a Cure. You've got something you're working on for next year as well, right?
Sure. It's going to be called the Big Cat Bash. It will benefit St. Jude. It will be at Helena River Park. The date will be June 11th, 2012. That's a Saturday, I think. It'll be a tri-state tournament directors event, but we're going to have it's kind of like some of these big bass tournaments where you weigh in one fish, or each boat can weigh in one fish a period. So there's going to be 4 periods, and our goal is 50 boats. At 50 boats, that'll be a $10,000 payout. That'll raise some money for St. Jude. We'll have raffles, we'll have food, we'll have all sorts of stuff going on while the tournament's going on.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That's a different format, Steve. That's pretty creative.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because if you catch a fish, you throw them in the box, you run to the ramp, and somebody will haul you and the fish up to the scales and weigh him, and we put him right back. You don't ride around in the boat all day long. And you got 4 chances to win money. And then at the end of the show, the 3 biggest catfish will get paid again. So somebody's going to win some nice day.
And that will be an ACA Alliance event, I assume, for next year as well. Yes?
Oh, everything we put on is ACA Alliance.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for your support and all your efforts. So, okay. So we've got the names loaded up in this randomizer here, and I'm going to randomize it. And we're going to come up with our winner for this week, and it's Ronnie Berry. Ronnie Berry. So let's see what Ronnie wins here. Let me bring this up, Steve. I don't mean to be rude, but bring it up so that you can see the wheel, and you can see all the great prizes that we have on here available to everybody. Just got to thank all our vendors and sponsors. And if you look overhead here, support these people. They're supporting catfishing in a big way, and we certainly ask you to support them as well. So let's give it a spin. Easy Sinker Slides by none other than, where is it? Rig Wrap. If you haven't used them, you're going to love them. So we're going to get you out some Easy Sinker Slides. You don't have to cut your lines to put on Easy Sinker Slides. Have you tried them, Steve?
Yeah, I've tried them. I like them.
Yeah, you don't have to cut your line. You just clip them on. What's that, Steve? Go ahead.
Yeah, you just snap them on there and let her rip.
Yeah, and like down here we've got a current that runs out in the Atlantic. It's about a 3 mile an hour current. It's not the Gulf Stream per se, but it's close to it. And if it can go higher or lower. So if I need more weight, I just clip out another one and send it down. I don't even pull up my line. I just clip it on and send down another 4 or 6 ounces. Works great. So, Ronnie, we're going to send you out some Easy Sinker Slides. And thank you for your support and signing up. Every week, you can sign up at www.jointheaca.com. Just put your name in there. You can go there right now and sign up for next week and get ahead of the game. And we'll pull your names. We usually pull the names about 7:30, 8 o'clock before the show starts, and that's kind of where the cutoff point lies. So if you get it in by, like, say, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we'll get you on the list for that show. So Steve, every week we want to talk about conservation. We want also to give folks a tip. What tip do you have for catfish anglers out there so they can go out and catch more fish?
Okay. I'm going to give you one that I like to do, and some of you old veterans probably already know this trick, but some of you new guys, if you're going to be scouting say you're going to fish a tournament that in some waters you've never fished before. It's real easy. Get on your computer, go to Navionics, click on Chart Viewer. Navionics is a great mapping system for the Mississippi River because it's one of the few that actually shows channels. It shows dikes, and that's always good in safety and navigation. But it also, myself, I love fishing behind dikes. I love fishing those eddy currents. I like fishing the milder down currents, your slack waters, and all that's produced behind dikes. So you get your Navionics on one screen, and then you go to Google Maps and put on satellite and start looking at the river from where you leave the ramp from. And of course, if you go over to Navionics, you've got your mile markers so often, so you say, well, I don't want to travel over 20 miles from the ramp. Well, then you can look within that parameter and you can pick out your spots. Now, I was thinking about fishing Brian Mayo's tournament on August 28th in Greenville, and I've never been there before. So I actually took a copy of this off of Google Maps, being that I'm a dike fisherman. And usually when there's a dike, it's been there a long time, there's going to be a blowout on the bank. And you'll see it. It'll come down, and it'll just be a cut, and it'll go. And then there's a dike right above that, and that eddy water has circled in there and wallered a hole out in the bank. A lot of times there's some 40, 50, 60, maybe 70-foot water in that little blowout hole right next to the bank that sometimes will hold some monsters at the right time of the year. And I'm going to try to hold this up and let y'all see what I'm talking about. I got some poorly drawn arrows on here. But you see those blowouts right there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
River from there. And those are 3 tasty holes right there. I bet I could spend all day right there. And they're all
just in those 3 holes
around Greenville. So that's my scouting tip.
It's pretty cool. That's a great tip, Steve. And I got another tip for folks that the Navionics charts and stuff. If you're an ACA member, it's on the website.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. There's a lot of resources on the ACA website. If you haven't explored it, explore it because there's a lot of information on there. The live well calculator is cool. There's just so many different things that's there, and we'll be adding in the future. We're working on something kind of special. It's still another year or so out, and if this all comes about, we're expecting it to change fishing and conservation forever. So we're really, really excited about it. We're just working hard every day at it and trying to get everything in place. But you'll learn more about it very, very soon. One of the things, we talk about conservation a lot, and I know that, you take very, very good care of your fish that you weigh in and the fish that you catch. And I know a lot of anglers do. We had posted a petition a couple or so weeks back, and there's been some debate on the language within the petition. And understand that this is a starting point. If you have been over there to sign a petition, thank you. If you haven't, please do. But understand too that this is kind of a live document. That if there's suggested changes in the language on there, we want to hear it. You can give us a call at any time, or you can send us an email. And with your suggestions, contact us. Let us know. We're doing this for the catfish community. What we have there, it may not be the perfect language. Help us make it perfect. It's a starting point. It's a discussion point. It's not to debate it. It's to be constructive and to create a document and an effort moving forward that we can all get behind. But the primary objective in this petition, and this is for the state of Kentucky, is sport fish, transportation over state lines of live fish, and pay lakes, regulating the pay lakes. And again, if you think the language needs to be changed, if you've got some ideas to add or adjustments, man, we really, really want to hear it. We're here for you. Okay, that's what this is all about. That the ACA is for the catfish community. So work with us, help us make a difference. Join today, www.jointheaca.com. We'd love to have you as a member. We'd love to have your support. We need your support. This stuff is not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen without support of the entire catfish community. As we grow, we will add more tools and toys to the website. We're getting, we're putting together all sorts of videos. We're trying to kind of get all those videos in order as far as to teach you how to catch more fish. And just like Steve just showed you tonight, that's a great tip. That's a great tip. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are maybe just getting into the sport that wouldn't even think of that. So thank you for that, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
I just keep on fishing, keep taking new people, and introduce them to the sport, and keep raising money for somebody.
Well, I'll tell you again, I appreciate, and I'm sure everybody else does appreciate everything you do for the various charities. And I know that you hunt out these charity events and you help out with a lot of them, and it's just not in catfishing, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So again, on behalf of everybody out there, Steve, thank you for your efforts.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And thanks for joining us tonight. And remember, Fishing for a Cure, coming up September 4th, catfishingforkids.com. Get over there, get signed up, get yourself a cabin or a room at the lodge or somewhere around the area, and be there. Let's have some fun. Let's raise some money for a great cause. And you got a chance to win, not one, but 2 CR boats. If you're an ACA member. If you're not an ACA member, you have a chance to win just one. But we hope you'll join us. Steve, thank you again.
Thanks, Glenn.
Love to have you back on. You got some great information, and I'm sure folks would be very, very interested in hearing more from you.
Yeah, man.
So
you say win.
Well, yeah, but I know that you make your way up the hill. You're trying to find that cell phone connection on top of a hill somewhere.
Well, my buddy's got good internet here. So
yeah, no, you're coming in great. Everything's terrific. And again, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you next week.
See y'all.
It's about passion for a sport we all enjoy. It's about conservation, education, community, and fellowship. It's about a single voice of strength. It's about being part of a common cause for the common good. It's about you. It's about us. It's our time to come together.
We're asking you to join us
and become a proud members American Catfish Association. You'll be happy you did. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, they are.